Are you so nervous in a job interview that you feel the North Pole's winds blew past you? Do you feel lost in the forest? That you need a map so you can navigate your way to success? Or worse, you feel like everything is so hard to understand that you need a lifeline beside you?
Tell me a situation when you overcome your weakness and turn up your stress.
Okay.
Quéntame una situación en la que es superado tu debilidad le conviertas en fuerza.
Fear not, I've got some tips to help you with it. Let me tell you, there's no reason to be intimidated by your interviewer. It's not like you're facing Dexter Morgan, right?
Hi guys, this is AJ and this is my first face video reveal on this channel. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, what's with the title? And as the title says, Ace Interview Questions the Fun Way. Which, of course, begs the question, how can we pull this off, right? So, well, we're about to find out. And, well, to start off, let's just go ahead and do a brief history of how this started. And, yeah, here we go.
It all started with an About Me video back in 2021. It had off-the-chart stats so massive that it flooded YouTube traffic and confused the algorithm. It only had, wait for it, 2 views. Yeah, 2 views. And the other stats are just as impressive as the others. So, with watch time hours of 0 and a staggering Coliseum-sized number of 0 subscribers. That's right, 0 subs. At that point, I won't be surprised if other channels are envious of what I'm seeing in my analytics. So, the sad reality though is, I guess time heals all wounds, but it doesn't produce subscribers on YouTube. Do you agree? Feel free to comment down below if you strongly agree or disagree with me. But I'm determined to change that. This is my 2.0 version of that mind-blowing video, which will serve as my redemption. And with your likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions, you can help me fill this empty stadium of my YouTube channel. Subscribing takes only 1 click. Go ahead and support this channel. So don't forget to watch until the end for a bonus tip. I promise you that.
So here we go with tip number 1.
The W.A.P rule and telling like a story. I know it's obvious, but first of all, your resume, CV, should not look like a scroll from the Dead Sea or a treasure map in the tomb of an Egyptian pharaoh. It should be neat, updated, professional, and epic as it reflects your personality. Kind of like this. Always remember, creating an impression. So even in the most minute of things. Cause you're not the only one interviewed for the position. You gotta get ahead of the pack. The aim is to seal the deal. Hit the home run. So in answering the question, tell me about yourself, most people would fall into the trap of answering my father's name is, my mother's name is, I'm the eldest of 4 siblings, blah blah blah. So it's like saying,
I'm Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel.
and
I am immortal.
this question is a psychological one, like all questions to gauge you. Ideally, your answer should focus on work-related, not personal details. But don't take my word for it. This is called the W.A.P rule. This is to know how you position your answer. Besides, the interviewer doesn't have time to listen to your life story, and you'll be asked a little later about hobbies and other interests anyway, so hold your horses for that storytelling part. You see, it pays to have that small chunk of personal stuff because it can be a good icebreaker to build your rapport, but just hang on to it until you have the go signal. In line with that, the 80% work part is knowing your audience and tailoring your answer to align with company goals, which is roughly being specific about your capabilities and how you'd contribute to the company.
If you're a multimedia editor and wants to impress the interview with your skills, the question is, how can you demonstrate your skills when you don't have a computer in front of you to show it?
You don't want to sound bragging like, hey, I can do GIMP, CorelDRAW, BandLab, DaVinci Resolve, Shotcut, and OBS. It gives the impression to your interviewer that, oh, you're just saying this, or you're just saying BS because you want to look awesome to your interviewer. Notice the play of words, OBS. Don't get me wrong though, I love OBS. And of course, I use Canva Pro as well for stock images, videos, text effects, but most of all, they're a great audio library, just to avoid those copyright claims. And we all know as YouTubers, this is an essential. You can use my link in the description below. Going back to the answer, in this case, you don't have to tell all the boring details of the software you've used, but just paint a general picture of what you know and let your resume do the talking. You might want to say it like this. I'm a multimedia editor that has a decade of editing images, videos, audio, and anything related to it. I think outside the box, which is one trait that I can be proud of, that I always apply in work. This might sound good already, but it's still not enough. You have to tell it like a story. And here's an example.
Okay, well, this one time at band camp, we were playing this game. I don't know if you know it, but it's called Spin the Bottle.
Seriously, Charisma in Command has this to say about answering interview questions in a story-like manner. He proceeds with, if you can tell it in an engaging way, that's gonna make them like you. And he also broke it down to 1. Setting, 2. Problem, 3. Solution, 4. Result. So, redoing our previous answer with this in mind, we can say our setting was like a company video presentation needs to be redone. So the problem is, one of the characters with the main role in the video is on vacation and is out of town. So, how can we resolve this? Let's tell it like a story. So, there was this one time. I know. Let's just use this epic phrase of a comedy movie. Anyway, here we go. There was this one time our company video presentation needs to have a lot of revisions, and the problem is our main character with the main role in the video is on vacation.
And we don't want to abruptly end her fun.
Of course. So what we did was reach out to her in her social media, and thankfully she was online.
So we told her to grab a green screen, record herself with the revised part, and conveniently upload it in the cloud. She was able to accomplish it in such a short time, and uploaded her video clip as instructed. So I was able to download the video here in my end, chroma keyed, and merged with the correct video.
So voila, we have the resolution to a seemingly impossible task.
And here's the second tip.
The mirror effect. In all interview questions, for example, what's your greatest strength? Your answer should mirror what you say and how you say it. I'm not saying to mirror your interviewer if it's not accommodating as this. It would have been awesome to see your interviewer's face smiling and welcoming as this. Sometimes, unfortunately, there's just a few who doesn't look so interested to listen to you. Like that Medusa stare that turns anyone to stone. So it's kind of tempting to ask them, is it cold here or is it just you? But on the bright side, it's not as scary as facing the sociopath Dexter Morgan, right? To be fair, the interviewer might just be so tired from doing interviews whole day. So cut them some slack and of course, do your part and don't beat around the bush. So going back to mirroring your answer with how you respond, micro expressions in the face are telling according to Dr. Ekman. This is the premise in his books. Micro expressions are facial expressions that occur within a fraction of a second. This involuntary emotional leakage exposes a person's true emotions. Same with micro expressions. Body language can be telling. In micro expressions, the involuntary emotional leakage Dr. Ekman mentioned cannot be controlled. And in body language, most people are not aware of their words not matching up to their actions. Or their posture just gives it away. All I'm saying is, it's great to be positive and honest in your interview, as it just syncs with your thoughts and surfaces in your speech. That's subconscious talking. Because regardless if the interviewer is keen to see it, sooner or later, they can see through you. I'm a big fan of the TV show Lie to Me and crime shows, which got me into Dr. Ekman's study. So going back to answering what's your greatest strength and using the same storytelling formula, we can say, so the setting is my colleague needs help with an issue and brings this problem to me. We both put to work together our skills in analyzing this. Most of the time, the answers are there, but it just needs a confirmation, weighing of available options through exchange of ideas. And as a result, the best resolution is arrived through discourse. This demonstrates that two heads are better than one, and the awesome power of teamwork.
In this next tip, I'm sure you're interested to listen to what it is.
Rehearsing, not memorizing. Generally, when you're unprepared, no matter how simple the question is, everything would seem incomprehensible that you need a lifeline beside you. Just like this interview.
Tell me a situation when you've overcome your weakness and turn it into strength.
So let me ask you, tell me a situation where you've overcome your weakness and turned it into strength. Cuéntame una situación en la que es superado tu debilidad y le conviertas en fuerza. ¿Entiendes? Sí, sí.
The question is in plain English, but somehow it feels,
Tell me a situation when you've overcome
or it's like hearing. This demon is not the stereotype Aramaic speaking kind. Sorry, I got carried away. Going back to the interview, I know at some point you've experienced this. I myself have, so not the demonic possession part though. You can avoid being nervous in an interview. One good advice is rehearsing your answer but not memorizing it. Weird, right?
Charisma on Command with the same video earlier mentioned about the storyboard strategy,
Which is a framework to nailing interview questions. In his words, we need to prep to answer those questions that they are probably going to ask in the most interesting, engaging, fascinating way that shows them you're someone who can handle a job. And to do this, one should pick on the most interesting, pivotal moments in your professional life. And spinning your stories that revolves around interview questions like, tell me about yourself, what's your greatest strength, tell me a situation when. So in a way, rehearsing answers without actually memorizing any. Make sense? Me too. So let's try answering tell me a situation when you've overcome your weakness and turn it into strength. And applying the pivotal moment that you've selected, so which is in this case, your weakness being overcritical and your strength going with the flow. So the setting is, a new project proposal is near the deadline, but somehow nothing is accomplished yet by the team. It seems everyone is creatively drained. No one seems to have new ideas anymore. Solution to this is everyone took turns pitching their ideas, no matter how silly they are. Now the result, a new project was implemented since there were a lot of suggestions that came in the process of taking turns. Before proceeding with the next tip, to all our Spanish friends out there, please let me know if Google did a great job with the translation for the interpreter part or not. Thank you, Ed.
And we're halfway through with number 4.
Deep dive. Hook. Now that you've given your answers to a few important questions, your interviewer might ask, since you mentioned about your multimedia editor experience and name a handful of softwares you've used, which is impressive by the way, can you tell me more about it? So now, this is your time with further shine. And in a way, this is your interviewer's response to your implied question. Take it away, Morpheus.
Do you want to know what it is?
As the hook is irresistible that one needs to know more about it.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Alright, Alice, let's go to Code and Code Wonderland. So I dabble in multimedia editing for a decade already. It just fascinates me seeing regular photos cartoonized. Turning it into pencil sketches looks interesting too. Making composites out of 2 photos is amazing. Watercolor effect makes a great touch. I tried Harper's picture and removed the background. My former colleagues were so thrilled that I made patterns out of their wedding photos. I tried it out myself with my favorite bands in the app only, and boy, do they look good. Crazy, right? I was also toying around with house designs just for fun. The architect in me just can't seem to resist doing a few designs, both interior as well as exterior. Just not those creepy stuff. You know what I mean? My former employer tasked me to provide artistic content in a project that was supposed to be in physical form, but it ended up as a virtual one. It was also a great way to showcase some writing abilities, which I honestly was glad to take. Tweaking audio has amazed me too. There are a lot of apps out there that does a great job, and what fascinates me is fixing voices that aren't so great. Fortunately, Autotune's lazy fix can turn your voice from this into something as angelic as this. I got so hooked to editing that I learned more advanced techniques like making 2D to 3D. This is Harper, a few months old. I also play around with logos and t-shirt designs for a government club that I was a part of, and a website concept for Harper that soon will finally launch. My former employer tasked me of creating physical banners or tarps. My friend also asked me for her son's birthday. It's also interesting that editing can breathe life into still images. And thanks for YouTube tutorials. And then there was this YouTube project that somehow I just couldn't shake off. But Flash end of life happened. I started this channel using other video editors and of course my love for words of wisdom. Another channel concept I have is for my love of music, which will have content the soonest. I also help my friend's product review channel, and she has a lot of videos already. So let's rewind there for a second, because the excitement is killing me. Let's watch this with music, shall we?
And second to the last tip, here's tip number 5.
Lighter side of things. Now the interviewer asks, tell me about the things not in your resume, your non-work interests perhaps? So this is the other side of the coin to tip number 1. Remember the W.A.P rule? If you notice, the work is overlapped with personal in our number 4 example. But you still have a chance to mess it up if you touch on subjects that the interviewer might disagree. You can easily get a dislike if you're talking about your political views or religious ones, or worse, sensitive topics. You don't want to appear unlikable by opening a Pandora's box of debatable things. You know, debates are great, but interviews are not the best time for it. Stick to relatable, likable, and lighter topics if you're attempting to build rapport to your interviewer. This is how I do it. The Sherlock Holmes in me resonates my choice for shows and movies. Supernatural things amaze me, but I'm not superstitious. It's also awesome to think the science fiction of today is a gateway for tomorrow's science. And a light dose of fun and drama goes a long way. Music has always been in my life. Books liberate us from mediocrity. Games are my addiction that I can't seem to shake off. And Harper, my adorable 4-year-old, is my solace.
And for sticking around, here's a bonus tip for you, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. So watch this one.
The bonus tip? No hesitation and enthusiasm. Assuming you aced your interview questions and nailed your answers like smoothly spreading butter on bread, you might be asked assumptive questions like, how soon can you start? Are you willing to be trained? These are just a few. And whatever it may be, say yes quickly and with great enthusiasm. You don't want your answer to be,
That depends on what you mean. Conscription? No thanks, I'm good.
Hey, snap out of it. Did I hear you say yes? Well, don't worry. You're in good hands with us, so no need to panic.
you think? I won't say yes to that for sure. If that's the kind of interviewer, you should remember Gibbs' rule number 3. Never believe what you're told. Double check. I guess that's all I have for today, and I'll leave you with this final note.
Just remember, job hunting in the screening process is a cutthroat activity. You have to be always sharp to be ahead of everybody. Because most of the time, in the end,
there can be only one.
Well, that concludes the entire video, and thank you very much for sticking around and watching the entire clip and hanging out with me. You'll be seeing more of these, and I'll have 2.0 versions of the previous videos I have, and to include voiceovers already and explainers. Well, you can watch the video again, you can share it with your friends, you can like and subscribe, and you can also watch my previous ones. So please support this channel. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this one. See you next time.